You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the November 3rd meeting for the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. I'll call to order this Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Monday, November 3rd, 2025. The time is 8:30, and I'll call the roll. Mr. Simmons?
Present.
Mr. Tisdale?
Present.
Tamiko is absent. Ms. Moore?
Present.
And Chair is present. Mr. York is present, and Ms. LePage.
Here.
Gotcha. All righty. Our first order of business today is approval of minutes from our regular hybrid meeting on October 20th, 2025. Has everyone had time to review those? Are there any comments or changes?
Motion to approve. Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Mrs. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay. Our next order of business is opening of proposals. This was tabled from our October 30th, 2025 meeting, and this is the opening of requests for proposals for tree watering for the spring 2026 season. Is there anyone here to speak about that? Or Ms. LePage?
So what you have to do, we did issue an addendum where we advised everyone that the bid openings would be today, and some of the additional specs had changed slightly. But what you need to do, Mr. President, is open up the floor to see if there's anyone here that would like to submit a request for proposal.
Is there anyone here? I'm going to open the floor up. Is there anyone here who would like to make an in-person submittal of a proposal for watering of our trees for the 2026 season? Anyone here? Anyone here? Okay. Do we need to make an official motion to close? Would someone like to make that motion?
Motion to close the bidding.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale? Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Okay, so we've received 2 quotes. What I'm going to do is open them and read them, but just remind you that this is a request for proposal. And under this procurement method by the statute, I will not read the amounts. The reason is it still gives us the ability to go back and negotiate. But when this then comes back in front of the board again for formal award, then I'll formally announce all of the amounts. So the first one I'm opening is from B&M Builders LLC. And then the second one we received is from Tycol, Tycol, Excavating and Property Services. And Mr. President, those are the 2 we've received, and I would just ask that you refer it to my office, I think Ms. Fachey and our acting forester for review.
Yes. Would anyone like to make a motion to that effect? I'll make a motion to that effect that we refer the 2 bids that we received to our attorney's office, Ms. LePage, and to Director of Public Works, Ms. Vachey, and to our acting forester, Mr. Graff.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay. Moving on. Our next order is a contract. This is a contract between the City of Michigan City and Global Engineering for engineering services for 2026, and the total amount not to exceed $225,500.00. Is there anyone here to speak about this contract. Or Miss LePage, have you had time to review this and are we in
Yes.
order?
Yes, this would be our standard engineering contract with Global. The scope of services would be for the 2026 CCMG, which would include but not be limited to the application for the CCMG, the design of the project with the plans and specifications and the bid documents, construction administration and observation, the closing documents, PACER assessment survey, and LTAP pavement asset management plan updates as well.
Okay. Are there any questions on this contract from the board? Any questions from the board? Okay. I'll open up for public comments. Any public comments on this item? Any public comments? Any public comments? Okay, I'll close public comments. Any other further questions on the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion to get this approved.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay. Next order of business is road closures for special events. The Michigan City Special Events Department is requesting the approval of the following road closures for 2026 parades. Number one is the St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 14th, 2026 from 10:30 a.m. to 2. Closure of Franklin Street from 10:30, I'm sorry, closure of Franklin Street from 10th Street to 4th Street, 9th Street to Pine Street, and Washington Street, 4th Street from Washington Street to Pine Street, and Pine Street from 9th Street to 8th Street. That's a lot. The Patriotic Parade on June 27th, 2026. Closure on Franklin Street from 10th Street to Harrison Street from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pine Street from US 12 to 9th Street, and 9th Street from Washington Street to Pine Street from 6:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thirdly, the Festival of Lights Parade on December 5th, 2026 from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Closure of Franklin Street from 10th Street to 4th Street, 9th Street to Pine Street, Washington Street to 4th Street, from Washington Street to Pine Street. That's a lot. Is Eric here today or anyone from the special events? Okay, just making sure they didn't want to get up and present anything. Has everyone had time to review the requested closures? I think this is pretty common. Captain or Commander Jesse, you're good with this? This is the same as normal, right? Cool. Okay. Any questions from the board? Comments from the board? If not, I'm gonna open up for public comment. Anything from the board? All right, open up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment on these closures, street parades, things of that nature? Any public comments? Okay, I'll close public comments. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Alrighty. Next order of business is a proposal. Tim Warner, city engineer, is requesting the approval of Lawson Fishers Associates proposal to design the sidewalk extension in the NDOT US 12 improvement contract for the total amount not to exceed $34,900.00. Good morning, Mr. Warner.
Good morning, Tim Warner, City Engineer. Basically, with the sanitary district's sewer installation for Lake Ave sanitary sewer, we were doing work in the railroad right-of-way crossing right next to Burnham Brewery to the east, looking at the sidewalk from the casino to this future trail that we're going to have on top of the sewer work. Scott and I talked about it and said, hey, why don't we make sure that we have a complete sidewalk all the way so that we can connect from across the bridge over Trail Creek to this trail on US 12. So this contract basically is improving the little bit of sidewalk that's there just east of or west of Burnham Brewery and bringing it all the way in front of Burnham's property out past F Street, E Street, and over to the future trail that we'll have there on the east side of Burnham Brewery and the railroad right away.
Okay.
Sounds clear?
Yeah, Mr. Warner, when will they start the work on this, just for the public's knowledge? What's the timing on the,
The NDOT US 12 improvement is right now scheduled to be bid on February 11th. It's usually a month or a month and a half before they get the contract set. So they'll start work in May, most likely on this contract for US 12.
so May of 2026, they'll
Yeah.
start? Okay, that's good. Yeah, the
I don't
goal,
really know what their schedule is. You know, it's kind of up to the contractor to decide if he's going to start doing the sidewalk work at County Line and move back to the east, or if he's going to start the other way. So,
Great.
but we'll find that out at the bid opening in when they have a pre-construction meeting with the contractor in
yeah,
May, early May.
excellent. Any questions of Engineer Warner on this project? I think it's a good project. I think people like to walk on loops and trails, and they like loops, to do loops and figure eights and things of that nature. We also just approved to poke under US 12 at Westcott, so you actually will be able to make figure eights and loops through
Way around
through
there.
our trail system right there, and that give people at the casino something to do, or other people to, local people to do something as well, and hopefully get them in our downtown. Any other questions with Mr. Warner? If not, I'm open up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment?
Yes, this is Tommy Kalava, 1316 Ohio Street. I know what this is a question and answer, but when's the You Are Beautiful sign gonna be going up in front of the cooling tower there on US 12? I know there's gonna be a little park, little gateway there for the Singing Sands Trail. I don't know when that's all, maybe next spring when everything all, snow all melts and everything's all ready to go.
Good question. I will answer that question. We had intended to do that this spring, but we found out from NIPSCO they're going to be putting in some infrastructure through there. So we're going to have to wait a little while. So,
Thanks, Tyler.
yep. Just for the public's knowledge. Any other public comment on this item? Any other public comment? All right, we'll close public comment. Is everyone, any other questions of Mr. Warner on this, or any questions? I can answer any too. Anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Mrs. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All righty. Our next order of business is a change of duty shirt. The Michigan City Fire Department is requesting to change their duty shirt for the month of November to the Movember men's health shirt. Good morning, Chief.
Morning. Taylor Fire Chief, how are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, this, again, I've been here several times. This is just a, annual shirt that we do, just such as the breast cancer shirts. We take that money, the union will take that money and they'll donate it to hopefully a local individual that's going through a male type issue such
Sure.
as prostate cancer, something along those lines. That's our hope. We find somebody local. If not, we'll figure out the money from that point. That's all we're looking to do is just change this shirt to allow people to wear the shirt for the duty on duty for the month of November.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for continuing to do these things. Any questions of Chief?
Just one. We've discussed you having to come in front of this board
Yes.
every time. And it was always brought up that it was in your contract
is.
and that's why you were here. Is you are in the middle of your contract negotiation. Are you working on the verbiage to that?
So, no, not that part. Not that particular part. I'm on the fence about that one because it could turn into just a mess. But me and the deputy chief were just speaking about that, maybe next year when we come in front of you to try this again, that we can do something like a blanket thing for the year.
Yeah.
Because we do it about 3 to 4 times a year. So we could just do like a
Mhm.
blanket thing, as long as it's under the approval of the chief, we could make a change here and there for a duty shirt instead of changing the contract. Because contract, I think we can get into a little bit of a mess with.
Gray area, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I would definitely support that.
Okay. Thank you.
We do love seeing you here, though. You know that.
I'll still
So,
come.
I think it's also a good way when you do come here. Like, we still want to see it because it's also a good way to like let people know about the shirts.
Right,
you
right.
know? So, anyways, any other questions of Chief? Any other questions of Chief? Okay, I'm gonna open for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Yep, you have to come up here. Yeah, for this item. Yep, come on. Yep, yep. You don't have to come up front. You can go to the one back there, but you're more than welcome to come here. You're already on your way up here now, so yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. Tell us your name and address for the record.
My name is Danielle Corley. I live at 602 Emily Street here in
Perfect.
Michigan City, Indiana.
Perfect.
So one question for you, Chief Taylor. I heard you say that the funds would be used for a male in the city that's going towards some kind of cancer, going through some kind of cancer.
Kind of male type issue.
Male type issue, does it have to be cancer
I
or?
wouldn't think it has to be.
Uh-huh,
Really, this is the union does this.
okay,
I'm coming to ask to make sure we can wear the shirts. But I can give you, once we're done, I
Yeah.
can contact information. You can get a hold of our union
okay.
and we'll go from there.
I will love to, yeah,
Yes.
that's all I wanted to know.
No
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Any other public comments on this item? Okay, I'm gonna close public comments. Any further questions of Chief from the board? If not, can we entertain a motion and get him? He's got other things to do, I'm sure.
Motion to approve?
Your second?
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, our next order of business, moving right along, we have the transit operations. Michigan City Transit Department is requesting to implement zero fare policy for fixed route and ADA complementary services. The adoption of system-wide zero fare policy. Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning,
Robin
Robin.
Tillman, Michigan City Transit Director. I have a request before you to engage the public prior to approval. I'm proposing a zero fare system. Currently, we take in about $73,000 a year in fare revenue. We spend and expend more on managing that cash fare than we actually take in. We also have looked at electronic fare collection and systems that would triple that cost to implement that. So I see it's much more advantageous for us to go to a zero fare system. We're not the only system that has a zero fare. We have examples, but we are unique that we only have 5 routes and it's really a small system. And we are very fortunate to receive 5307 funding.
Yes.
And the funding is based on passenger count and miles traveled. The FTA doesn't require us to collect fare. I see this as a plus for our city. And I'd like your approval to go out, engage the public, and then come back to you for approval.
Ms. Tillman, do you think the ridership will increase with the reduction of fare or zero fare?
I
Do you
do.
see this as so it may add to our calculation with
Yes, I
with the
do
monies?
believe that would put more passengers on board
Okay.
our system. We explored and studied raising the fare to try to collect more revenue, but our demographics just don't justify that.
Sure.
We can't raise the fare.
That makes sense. Any questions of Ms. Tillman?
So you would be asking the board to conditionally approve this subject to your public hearing process and then come back and report the results thereof.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
And we'll be doing surveys on board. It's like you can write, send your comments to me. We have to document them, present them back to you for
What-
approval.
One more question. Have you set your public meetings yet?
The Board of Works is my
Got it.
public meeting,
Okay.
and and the next public meeting, Board of Works meeting is my
Got it.
approval meeting.
Okay. I just didn't know if you want to make any announcements of anything coming up.
No.
That's the only reason why I asked. Okay. Any further questions of Director?
So
Okay.
Ms. Tillman, should Mr. York then open this up at this point in time for
Yes.
a formal public hearing?
Correct.
Thank you. Because we just don't have it on our agenda, but you can modify
Yeah, I'd
our
like to-
agenda to reflect that.
To do that. Okay, let's open it up for a public hearing. Let's have, all right, we're going to open this up for a formal public hearing on the Michigan City zero fare, Transit Department zero fare policy. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I think this is great. I think Robin ought to get another award for this. I think that was really good. We ain't got to come to the controller's office and plunk down our $20 and get us our paper pass. Be a lot less than hassle for the workers in the controller's office. We don't have to carry $2 around for our ride there and our ride back. Don't have to have that cash money. I think the only criticism, I'd still like to have a transit app. You know, we already got the GPS on the buses for the security. I mean, I don't know how much it would cost to implement an app to, I like going to other cities where they got much, much larger mass transit systems. They all got transit apps. It'll tell you exactly down to the minute when the bus is going to be at your stop. It can go into the zone. It'll show you right where the bus is at in the city, and so you'll get a good idea when the bus is going to be. No more guessing game. I know most people know when the bus when it loops from the time of the hour that's going to be there. So you got to be at that bus stop. You're not staying at the bus stop. The bus is going to go by. If you're running to the bus, they'll keep going. So that's just one my little criticism. But I still think this is an awesome program they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments on this item?
Good morning, Board. Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. Yeah, this is great. This is one of those counterintuitive things where not charging money saves us money. And I think people need to understand that as a city of about 30,000 people, we're very fortunate to have a mass transit system of any kind, let alone our Triangle service that takes you to the next city and our local college. So we're really lucky to have this. And I just found out the fare is only $1 as it is, which is really affordable. But given our demographics, this is a great move. Anything we can do. And it's funny that, again, that it's counterintuitive that not charging will save money. It will also reduce risk. I would think for the drivers, there'd be no cash on board now. I don't know if there's ever been any problems, but this would eliminate that as well. One thing, there was concern that I heard expressed at another meeting that coming to cold weather, we might have a lot of additional riders who are just doing it for a place to stay warm. And I guess we have a policy that you can only stay on the route for one circuit, if you will. But we might want to bring in police for a little spot checking to help the drivers out with any potential vagrancy type things happening on the transit. But I think, again, we need to celebrate that we have the service and that we're able to do it in this way. It's just a fantastic thing. And I thank the director for bringing it to your attention. Thank you.
Robin, would you like to go ahead?
Michigan City Transit already has policies in place for ride-arounds. They're only allowed to travel one complete loop. Michigan City Police Department has always been supportive in supporting us in our policy enforcement. As far as that transit app, it's on my agenda. We're working on it.
I believe you.
Ms. Tillman, I just have one question. Rather than this board conditionally approving it right now, would it make sense for us to just table it to our next meeting pending the results of the second formal hearing?
That would meet the criteria necessary.
Okay, it makes more sense to table to the next pending the results of the formal hearing.
If that's the language used, yes.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments for the public hearing that we're conducting right now? Any other comments on this? Anything online for this? Anything online? Any other public comments? Going once, going twice? Okay, I'm going to close our public hearing. I'm going to close this public hearing. I think that would be our official motion to close it. And then you've heard Ms. LePage ask that we should probably, make the request that we would table this. Would anyone like to make a motion to that effect? To table this till our next public works meeting, correct? Okay.
I'll make a motion to table until our next meeting when you get further feedback. And as part of that feedback, you said that the cost in saving from the collection of fares, could you give us an estimate about that? And then my other question that I have is, and it's just I don't know, but it seems like that we're federally supported quite a bit with this transit system.
Right.
The funds for that, do you see happening?
If we increase our ridership, it's like our funds increase. If we increase our miles traveled, our funds increase.
Okay.
So it's like more passengers, more money.
Gotcha.
It's a formula sort of like CDBG that they
Yeah.
use for services and things like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my
But-
motion, sorry.
But were you requesting, was one of your questions, you do think we're still safe with our money, things of that nature? Like
Oh,
we're gonna be
absolutely. This
receiving-
is in no way, this is all compliant with the FTA 5307 funding.
Yeah.
And I will illustrate the cost of labor that we expend on collecting fare versus what we take in. Okay, thank you.
Support?
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Mrs. Izzo?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on. Next order of business is a request for employee benefits items. High Street Insurance is requesting the approval of the following employee benefits items. A bronze plan, additional plan design forthcoming, rates for all plans offered, an amendment to secondary payer language.
Mr. York, if I may, real quick, just so that I can inform this board, I spoke with the mayor about this this morning. And at this time, she would like to remove the request for amending the secondary payor language, or what we were referring to as the spousal carve-out. We have taken into account the feedback from the various unions, the employees and staff, as well as timing. And this is something that we want to eliminate at this point in time.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you. Eric Gibson with High Street. Good morning. Appreciate everybody's time. As you mentioned, I have two items now for discussion and approval, hopefully. Adding the additional bronze HSA plan, which is outlined in the packet, simply just higher deductibles and out-of-pocket maxes, an additional option for folks to choose from. And then, of course, rates for the new plan year, which premium equivalents, because you guys are self-funded, but also the COBRA rates are included in that as well. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
So on the chart we were looking at on page 6, just for clarification, the 1090 employee employer line, that is what our employees are proposed to pay this year under the new plan.
Correct. Under the employee column on that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
One more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Our $1 plan, I know I attended several employee meetings with HR on Friday, including the 9 a.m. one. Got a lot of good feedback. The $1 program, and I'm looking to our HR ladies too, because they brought this up several times. If you go to North Shore for the majority of your healthcare needs, there is zero out-of-pocket pay for our employees, correct?
Correct.
So hypothetically speaking, if you are able as an employee to go to North Shore for every medical statement, you would be paying $12 out of pocket annually for
Correct.
healthcare?
That's exactly what I would do if I was eligible for this plan.
That is incredible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's unheard of, honestly.
Yes.
You guys have tremendous benefits.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for clarifying that and pointing that out. Any other comments from the board or questions from the board? Any other questions from the board? Okay, I'll open it for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Any public comment on this item?
Scott Melantur kind of place. That's amazing. I'm on the marketplace at $781 a month for my insurance. I would love a job in the city if you're hiring. But I'm curious, we heard at a previous common council meeting, there was some talk about moving our smoking barrier to 20 feet from City Hall. And the statistic was that in LaPorte County, over 30% of the people are smokers. And the national average is below 10% now. And I was shocked by that. My question is, if we can have an answer to this, do these plans or any of our plans have smoking cessation incentives of any type? And are there, since we're self-funded, do we have any health improvement type incentives? I don't know if I'm wording that correctly, but I think he understands what I'm talking about. So I'm wondering if we have these incentives built into the plan to further reduce our healthcare costs, which have been out of control for, well, decades now, but are really hitting us at 2,000 a year per employee for the last couple of years. I don't think people realize that. The healthcare cost to the city has gone up last year, $2,000 per employee, and is scheduled to go up $2,000 per employee again this year that's about a 20% rise in less than 2 years, just so people know. So do we have incentives to control that? Thank you.
Yep. If you'd like to.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to address
So
it.
those programs do exist. There's currently no incentive in a monetary sense. Obviously, everyone would prefer to be healthy, but those programs do exist. So smoking cessation, wellness programs, and actually the North Shore program includes a lot of that as well. So
Yeah. Thank you. Any other public comments on this item? Any other public comments? Any other public comments? All right, I'm gonna close public comments. Any more questions or further questions from the board on these items?
Not a question, just a comment. I really appreciate the removal of the spousal carve out. That was, I believe, the biggest concern for the majority of the employees that I heard.
Yeah.
And the city has had a fantastic benefits package that they've been able to take care of for a long time. So I'm grateful we're able to give our employees notice and not just surprise them with this in 2 months. So thank you all.
Yeah, that would have been tough. Any other questions, comments? Ms. Moore, you good? You good? Okay. All righty. Hearing none, would anyone like to make some motions? Can we approve all this at once, or do we need separate motions?
All at once, please.
Okay. Anyone like to do so?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. We really appreciate you taking time to do this, and thank you to HR.
yeah, thank you all.
All righty. Next order of business is a request for road and railroad repair. Councilman Don Prespolinski is requesting the following: to put the CSX railroad ties along Arthur Street back on the pending items list, and to give an update to put the repair of the CSX railroad crossing at Buffalo Street back on the pending items list, and give an update to permanently repair the blacktop roadway patch at the intersection of Tilden and Gardena caused by the NIPSCO incident on December 2024, and to lower the curbing to the right height on the northwest corner of Gardena Street and Tilden. Good morning.
Good morning, board members. Michigan City Councilman at Large, Don Prespolinski. I reside at 215 Gardena Street. And just to start with the first item, and I know I've addressed the board before about the same item, but this item has been an issue that I brought in front of the Board of Public Works and Safety. And I'm going to estimate probably 18 months ago. At the same time that we were also dealing with the Woodland Ave crossing, just to refresh everybody's memory. And to date, the ties are still sitting there. It's been taken off the pending items list for whatever reason. I want to get this done, and I want to get it done to the fact that it was brought to me by a resident that lives in that neighborhood, a resident that has to look at a pile of 300 railroad ties every time they come out of their house. And it doesn't do anything for the quality of trying to clean the city up, as our mayor is trying to move so proactively in trying to get that done, that I don't know if there's an urgency to get this done or what the issue is. But for me, anything for 18 months to put a request in by a citizen, a request is being put in by a citizen and then brought to you by the city councilman. That's why I'm here. I don't have to get up in the morning or all day long and look at these railroad ties. They don't interrupt my view of how I see my neighborhood every day. But that's why I'm here representing these folks that live in the neighborhood. So, that's the one issue there. And also the other issue is the crossing, I'm going to say inserts on the rails that I talked about before on Buffalo Street. It's in the same condition, and if not, it's probably getting worse where the blacktop is starting to break off because these rubber inserts are not put in, widening the gap between the rail and the blacktop, making it even more of a safety issue. And the board that, we're talking to today is the Board of Public Works and Safety. This is, to me, is a safety issue with anyone that travels over that railroad crossing. If you're riding a bike, your your wheels could get stuck in between this now enlarged gap between the rail and the blacktop. There's even a bigger gap, probably 8 inches on each side of the splice bar that holds the rails together, that if you're just walking over that crossing, and now that it's getting darker even earlier, that people are out walking and they don't know that that's there, they could step right into that and they could hurt their ankle, break a leg, and same thing with the child taking that way, coming back and forth in the neighborhood. We all know that Buffalo Street is not a main thoroughfare, but it is a thoroughfare that's quite used in that neighborhood. So those, and for us, I think for us as a city and as a board and as a city council member, that to stay silent on this is just a matter that we're not speaking up and we're not doing what the public expects us to do. So I would like to get an update on that and have the board vote on, those items first before I proceed with the other two items referring to Tilden Ave and Gardena Street road crossing or intersection. So if we could get a report on that, that'd be fine.
Okay.
How the board wants to proceed.
Okay. Any questions of the board? Okay. I'm going to ask Ms. Vache. She would like to make some comments. Good morning.
Good morning, Wendy Vache, Public Works Director. Absolutely respect where Councilman Prespolinski is coming from and the homeowner. Don't have any issue putting it back on the pending list, of course. I mean, it's important. But let me say this, which is what I said before. There are railroad ties stacked along the CSX right-of-way all throughout Northwest Indiana. Now, I'm not saying that we care about Michigan City, most absolutely, but there are ties all the way through, all the way to the state line. Those ties are on railroad property. We have no jurisdiction over that. That doesn't mean we shouldn't bring it up. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try to talk to the railroad and find out more. I will say this, my understanding of railroad policy is they intend to pick them all up at one time. Those contracts are handled nationally out of their Atlanta office. I do suspect that at the same time, something like Buffalo Street, maybe that would be under a different contract. We'll try to find out a little bit more. But the type of work at Buffalo is a little different than Woodland. I don't believe it was under the same contract from what I found out before, so that would be an update. And again, I think we're all concerned about it. I agree, we'll continue to talk, but with the government shutdown, there's also no congressional way to put this at the top of anyone's list. Again, doesn't mean it's not important. Thank you.
Engineer Warner, you're good? Okay, just making sure. So hearing that, board, what's the, I guess I'll open it up for the public comment. So let's open it for public comment. Any other public comment?
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I'm sure we all know by now the only way to get anything accomplished with the railroads, you have to formally petition the office of the United States Senate. It was the same problem we had with Ohio and Tilden Street during Mayor Perry's tenure in office. He finally he sent out his aide, they got it all fixed. That's the only way you're going to get it done with the railroads. I'll say it once again. You know, what if I bought an open lot and I said, I want to dump 300 railroad ties on it? It's my land, I can put the railroads on it. That's what the railroads can do. The railroads, they don't go dumping 300 railroad ties in the heart of Carmel or Fishers or Noblesville or Westfield or Zionsville or Avon or Brownsburg or Columbus or all those cities where the rich people live. They're going to do it for us here in Michigan City. You got another railroad tie mess right along 8th Street. Their whole fence line, a lighthouse, while they got a termite infested, rotten railroad tie mess. They need to get those cleaned up. I know this is something else, but Dunes Plaza, you're not supposed to have any shipping container. They're only for industrials. They got a great big shipping container right next to the office. Max has been there for a long. That's against our zoning. The shipping container requests come before the LaPorte County Board of Zoning Appeals all the time. They all get denied. They need to get rid of that shipping container. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Any other public comments on these two items right now? Any other public comments? Okay, I'll close public comments. What's the pleasure of the board? What would you like to do? Do you want to put these back on the pending list, or what was the pleasure?
Motion to put this back on the pending list. With the understanding that we will continue to follow up on calls and whatever it takes to get it done.
For a second,
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, so we're going to put these back onto our pending list, and then I guess we'll have an update. Would you like to present your other two?
Sure.
One at a time, please.
Yeah, if I may, if I could back up to the other two, just for one item. Because what I'd like to do, or what I would request, that, and I know we were saying we're trying to make contact, What I'd like to have is either the city public works director or the city engineer write a letter to the CSX, give myself a copy and give all the board members a copy, so that we know that we're trying to move forward with getting these items taken care of.
You have a lot. But Director Vacher, was that something you would do?
Write a mean letter. I will absolutely write a letter. There has been correspondence, but sure, I'll write a letter.
Yeah, I just,
No problem.
all right. All right.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Moving down the list, and it says the next item says to permanently repair the blacktop roadway patch at the intersection of Tilden and Gardena Street caused by a NIPSCO incident back in December. So let me just give a little history about Tilden Ave and that intersection and Tilden Ave as a whole. Is that not this past summer of 2025, but the summer of 2024, Tilden Ave was re-blacktopped from Cool Spring Ave, I know, to not Tilden, Greenwood. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, down to Greenwood. So then what happened in December of 2024, they had a gas leak at that intersection. So they had a contractor comes out and does their emergency work, and they tore the blacktop up. I don't know, just for the sake of discussion, I'm going to say maybe a 10-foot wide path that went totally across Tilden Ave right there on the intersection, on the north side of the intersection. So then the city came the contractor came and put gravel in there, and it stayed like that until I think maybe early spring. And then Sean, the street department, came and put cold patch in there, and that was just a temporary fix. We were hoping that, NIPSCO was going to be notified about it. NIPSCO would come back and pay the city for doing the repairs. I don't think the city should have to pay for something that dealt with NIPSCO. And I don't know if that happened or not, but there was never a permanent fix to that. We still had the temporary repair. After I submitted the request here a week ago, I did notice the following day that half of that intersection was done. I don't know if the whole intersection is done, and I'm assuming that Sean was doing that work. Yeah, so I don't know if the whole intersection is done yet, or if it's
Sean,
still half of
I'll
it.
get you up here in just a minute. Yeah, you're good, man. Yeah.
Okay, so my point is, I guess it's going to be done now that Sean is fixing it. But I was hoping that the city was going to be able to recoup the monies that we have spent on fixing this intersection, not on our fault, but on NIPSCO's fault for tearing up a brand new blacktop roadway last December. So that's one item. Okay. All right, so I don't know, do we want to address that?
Sean, you can address it right now if you'd like. Yeah, or Mr. Warner, we talked about it earlier too. Sean, if you'd like to, though, whomever.
Good morning, board. Sean Smith, Street Director, City of Mission City. We actually have begun work restoring the other side. We have 50% of it completed. We actually milled out the cold patch and we put hot mix asphalt in. We compacted it. But our actual miller that goes on, a piece of our attachment failed, so I'm waiting to get that back to complete the other half.
Okay. But you are capable of doing it in-house? Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Okay, then I guess my second question is that since NIPSCO is the one that caused this whole problem to begin with, and we are expending city monies repairing this and city materials, is the city going to send a letter to NIPSCO to pay us for the work that we have done?
I do
Because
not.
I would assume that you were probably looking at a couple $1,000, $3,000 worth of work there.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Okay, well, even $300. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to look to Attorney LePage for that, for a comment of, I'm sure we
Discuss it.
I'm sure we have
Like,
an easement.
like airing out everything
Yeah.
for the first time, but I'll definitely discuss it with staff. This is the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah. And there are easements that are granted to NIPSCO through our rights of ways and things of that nature. I'm sure we have to look at those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But being on the city council and knowing what a, financial crunch the city's in, I know we can use every dime that we can get. So that's why I brought that up. All right, moving on. Not an emergency type thing, but something that has been an issue since that intersection was redone last summer, the summer of 2024, is the curbing. And I know that myself and Mr. Warner have spoken about this before, and I thought it was going to be corrected this past summer, but it hasn't been. But the curbing on the northwest corner of Gardena and Tilden Ave is, for some reason, like 10 inches high, and the curbing itself, the degree of the curb has caused vehicles, and you can see it if you go down there and look at it, that vehicles have to ride up on that curb on their rear tires at certain times, and maybe because they have to cut the corner a little sharper because of the size of the intersection. But my request is to get that curbing lowered down. What's happening, cars are getting up on it, vehicles are getting up on it, and then when they get so far off the curb or around the curb, then the back tire or the front tire drops down. And I know that it's scraping the side of the hubcaps and things like that, but I just think the curb is too high for the standards. Because Mr. Warner and I, we've talked about that intersection and some of the changes that had to be made there to make it correct, and I don't believe any of that got done this past summer. So that's another issue that I'd like to have.
Mr. Warner, can I ask you a question? Does the curb meet standards, and was it designed correctly and installed correctly?
the curb was designed correctly and installed correctly. The ADA ramps that are put in there require a full height on each side for the width of the tactile warning.
Yeah, they have the warning signs.
Yes,
Yep.
and it's a pretty tight radius return, but the problem is there's a inlet right there in the middle of that return, and
Sure.
the pavement from the ramps drops down to this inlet.
Sure.
The grade change because of the depth of that inlet. I mean, we can talk to the sanitary district and see if they could raise that grade up a few. It doesn't need to be as low as it is,
Yeah.
but that was what the existing condition was when there were no ADA ramps there. There were just basic ramps and everything. Just
Yeah.
kind of the whole thing came down to that inlet elevation before.
So it's not a curb issue.
It's not a curb
Yeah.
issue. It's the inlet really. So
Yeah.
I'll talk to the sanitary district about it and see if they can add that to their list of frame adjustments they need to do. Because I know they've got a couple other in that neighborhood just off Tilden as well, and Poplar.
Yeah.
Going north.
But the curb was designed correctly. Everything's designed. The intersection, the radiuses are correct. Everything. of that
Curb is
nature.
designed the way the ADA, the current federal PROAG requirements mandate.
All right. So it isn't a curb issue. Sounds like it's something else there.
Yeah,
And if people are turning the curbs too tight, then
right.
that's
And like I said, I'll talk
wow.
with sanitary district and see if we can raise that grade up. There'll still be positive drainage to it from the ramps. So they might be able to bring it up like 3 or 4 inches even the way we'll take a look at it. I'll talk with Al Wallace and John Gorsico when John's back tomorrow to see if we can do some adjustments of that frame height and make that less height curb right at the end of the return.
Okay. But specifically, we're being asked to correct the height of the curb. So we should not correct the height of the curb. It's more to
The change of height of the curb basically. So if we bring that pavement up around and that grade up, that'll help.
Either going up or going down.
Okay. So
Okay.
let's open it. Are there any public comments on these two items? Any public comments on these two items? Any public comments? Okay.
No, I just want to thank the board for hearing my concerns and get these things corrected.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? What's the pleasure of the board? Sounds like we intended to patch, we tried, but it seems like it's all failed. So, we're halfway there. So I'm sure we'll get that done. So maybe so this would be my suggestion, and correct me, board, if you'd like to do something different. Okay. That we take the permanent repair of the blacktop roadway and that we put that on our pending list to hear back once we get things fixed and things of that nature. And then the lower of the curb, I don't know that we're going to deal with the curb. It sounds like a basin issue. So I don't know that we want to be tearing out curbs and adjusting curbs because they're built and designed correctly. It's more of a basin issue. So I think we would probably deny that one or modify that one. Ms. LePage.
Why don't you just refer it to the sanitary district?
Perfect. 100%. Great. So let's refer that one to the sanitary district. So let's keep our permanent repair for the blacktop from the NIPSCO incident on our pending issue, and let's refer the curb, the basin curbing issue to sanitary district to deal with. Would anyone like to make a motion to that effect? Oh, did I? I'll make a motion that we put the permanent repair of the blacktop roadway at the intersection of Tilden and Gardena caused by the NIPSCO incident on our pending items list to be heard at our next meeting. That's pretty tight. Are you good with that? Our next Board of Public Works meeting. So let's take that one first.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale. Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And then the second one, to lower the curbing to the correct height in northwest corner of Tilden, deal with the basin. Let's refer that. I make a motion that we refer that to our sanitary district.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay. Let's move on. All righty. Next order of business is the request to host horse and carriage rides. Fish Camp at 12 on the Lake is requesting to host horse and carriage rides on December 7th, 14th, 21st, for residents to enjoy the Christmas lights through Washington Park. Hi, how are you?
My name is Anjanette Porter, and I'm the general manager at Fish Camp.
Excellent.
This is new to me, so I'm not.
No, tell us a little bit, just tell us a little bit about what you're requesting, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and
I'm requesting that I have a private horse and carriage company come out to Fish Camp for Fish Camp diners on Sunday, December 7th, the 14th, the 21st. It will run from 5 until 8:30. The last ride will be at 8:15, and we ride from Fish Camp through the Port Authority parking lot, through all the lights in Washington Park.
Excellent.
And we've done it. This will be our 5th year.
Cost per ride?
So you have to have dinner at Fish Camp, and then for up to 4 people, it's $50.
Perfect. Just getting that out for the public's knowledge.
Sure.
Any questions of our representative?
Has the Port Authority and the park approved this already? I'm assuming.
I'm not sure. I think so already. I think this is our last stop.
Okay.
I'm not.
I do not know the answer to that.
No.
Terry, do you know if the parks has approved this? I'm so sorry to put you on the spot. I know that's not your responsibility, but just curious if you'd heard anything. Yes.
Yeah, I know that Nicole Bissonette, the owner of Fish Camp, she usually handles this, but she's out of the country. But I know that we've gotten emails back and forth from everybody, but I don't know who else is.
Okay. And I know you've done this
Yeah, we've done it before.
numerous times before, so.
Yeah.
Would we, if we did approve this, would we could just conditionally approve this pending, obviously, that they've approved it too? Okay. Is everything in order with this? Attorney LePage, the insurance, everything of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
So again, you have to eat dinner there at Fish Camp in order to take the ride?
Yes.
Okay.
Got to go there and eat. Gina takes the carriage ride.
I usually am on a waiting list as well, too.
Oh, wow.
So you know, the community enjoys it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to open up for public comment. Any public comments on this item?
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Street. Like the lady said, they've done this the last 5 years. It's really nice that they do this. It's actually part of our ordinance that they have to go get approval to do this. You just can't go out riding a horse on the streets willy-nilly, you know, we're not an Amish community. This isn't Shipshewan or Napanee or somewhere like that. But I hope you just go ahead and approve this, and I hope they continue to do this. I think it's a really nice thing they do. And I do think they got to go to the park board and get approval for it too. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other public comments on this item? Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Okay, I'll close public comments. Anything on, well, let me look up online. No, I don't see anything online. Okay, I'll close public comments. Any other any other questions from the board or comments from the board?
Motion to approve pending approval of the Park and Rec Department.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Updates on 1605 Franklin Street project. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm back. Here to provide an update on 1605 Franklin. Werner Graff, the building owner, is online. He is out of town, but he is available for questions. A couple of quick things. I did hand out the required progress report. It was submitted on time, so I'm very much appreciative of that. And there's been a few changes, so I think it's important for the board to know this. That is also included here in as an update, if you will. Mr. Werner is going to change contractors. Mr. Fernando Patina with Undefeated Construction will be moving on. And a new contractor will be brought in. The new contractor, hopefully all goes well. I'll let him speak to that. But a company called Green City out of Cincinnati. These folks specialize in this kind of work. So whereas we've got a change and our construction contractor, which I do believe we somewhat anticipated, there was some pretty serious challenges getting the necessary insurance for the closure. Having looked at the website of the folks of Green City, et cetera, I don't anticipate that an organization like this will have any problem meeting the city's requirements. So in that way, I think that's a positive element of what's going on. We are 33 days into the 100 days. As Mr. Graff can also expound if you would like. There has been progress made on the clean out. There have been a significant amount of stuff taken out of there, to be honest with you. 3 containers full. They are on schedule roughly with the clean out. The temporary bracing, which is necessary for the hence the sidewalk closure, is a little delayed. But at this point, it doesn't seem to be posing any significant problems. The most important thing is to get a new contractor on board. And I believe Mr. Graff can speak to the time frame of that. I'll be here if you have any other questions for me. Mr. Graff?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, great. Last week I met with the president of Green City. It's a
You're muffled. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can fix this.
Mr. Graff, we can't hear you.
All righty, I'm trying. Hold on, guys.
Yeah, you're fading in and out on us.
It must be a connection. So Wendy Vache, I'll give a quick update and see if I can answer any questions. I think essentially, and Mr. Graff did come into the office as well last week to speak to me about these changes, and then we discussed the progress report. So again, I will say the addition of potential Green City demolition is a major plus for us to make sure that the facade of this building is actually saved. The amount of material that's been removed from the building is also a plus because it lightens the load on the structure, but it is a solid steel frame. Folks have been coming in and out of it and have not expressed any concerns. That's a plus. Engineer Jeff Wright is also on board with the project to continue to provide structural engineering support. I think that's also a good thing. Of course, we don't like to delay, but some of that at this time is inevitable. You'll note if there's any questions, always, or if there's any questions later, I'd be happy to answer them. The critical path here for me is to get the bracing on the building. But again, there's nothing coming off the building. There doesn't seem to be any immediate danger for any of the building components right now from the facade. I hope that is helpful. I will stay here and answer any questions that I might be able to answer.
Hi, can you hear me at all, guys?
Yeah, Werner, I think you're having a connection issue, or we're having vice versa, but we can't understand what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. Sorry about that. I could try to call in, but Wendy's presented it.
Yeah, it still isn't working. Sorry.
I will say one thing that is interesting, if you look on your request on the last page, he asked for something of an addendum. And again, I think all of this is fine and good for now, but I really was encouraged by Green City Demolition coming on site last week. That was last Wednesday. I was not able to attend, but I thought that was a major plus. And they did do a drone evaluation, which quite frankly is a standard I'd like to see in situations like this. Should we ever come across this one again? Drone survey, and I will look at City Engineer Werner, I know he will agree with me, is good stuff. That gives you the ability to make an entire point cloud of data for the building. And so that will actually be a very good addition for any future restoration. So I want to give a little shout out to that. So I'm hoping that Green City does come to town and assist Mr. Werner. He is expecting, Mr. Graff, sorry, not Mr. Werner. He is expecting a proposal hopefully by the end of this week.
Is there a request in here that we need to? I'm just reading through.
He's asking for concurrence on the extension of the demolition. I don't see a problem with that because it's still within the overall time frame of the 100 days, but I'll leave that to all of you.
So when the board issues its orders, it issued very specific orders, resetting it for a status hearing in January. This isn't a status hearing, and I don't feel comfortable with the board modifying any orders without the necessary notices and parties being here today. So from my perspective, this is just an update with no finality of this board as the appellate board on this matter.
I would agree.
Thank you. Questions of Ms. Vacher. So thank you for putting this together, helping direct it. Any questions? Ms. Moore, I want to make sure you get all any comments, questions. Okay. I'm patiently waiting.
I'll be back at the next meeting to provide you with yet another.
Alrighty. But we do have a pending items list on here.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
and that can be removed. Mr. Patina has requested that his petition be removed as he is no longer working on the project, and so that can be removed from the pending
Okay,
list.
once we get there, we will remove it and then just await Green City to probably step in.
I will be back in 2 weeks.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next order of business is a payrolls and claims docket. Has everyone had time to look those over? And if so, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. and Tisdale. Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Let's see here. Next order of business is just a claims docket for November 3rd, 2025. Has everyone had time to review that? And if so, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Alrighty, on to our unfinished business items. For unfinished business, our first item is a request for a request for traffic control. Matt Sapola of 156 Mayfield Drive is requesting the following: construction zones to be posted and have a construction speed limit of 20 miles per hour. But I think instead of that, this was tabled from our September 15th, 2025 meeting, and I think instead of that, we put I'm sorry, I don't remember what it's called. The unit out there, the trailer unit out there. Yeah. Radar trailer. Sorry, I was having a moment there. Commander, maybe give us an update where we're at, suggestions, recommendations.
Good morning, Captain Jesse. The radar trailer is still out there. I talked to Matt last week. He's happy with how things are going. I think we're at 4 warning tickets that were issued out there. My traffic officer has been a little sidetracked with some of the major accidents we've had recently and investigating on those. But moving forward, the sign can be put in a different spot, trying to find another one that's not as close to a ditch, even on Warnke or Tryon area. Since they use that also to come off of 212 to go to the site, and then also that continue having the shift district units, keep that in mind. So I think at this point, Matt's happy and we'll just continue with that.
Commander, do you want us to leave this on the pending items list? And
Probably not. Like I said, I'll keep that on the hot list with some of the other intersections and things like that, but.
And you think you're going to look for a spot down near Warnke on pretty much we're up on Tryon right now, where we go to the opposite side.
Well, yeah, we're on Royal still.
Royal. I meant Royal. It's near.
But with the most likely the construction traffic is coming off of 212, either on Tryon there or Warnke, and find it in an area that'll match over there. That's safe for the radar trailer as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the board?
No, and in addition, there's sufficient signage out there. I mean, you'd have to be blind not to see and read the signage.
There's a lot.
So,
Or just ignore
I hope they continue issuing warnings and citations for those who are speeding.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other comments from the board? Any public comments on this item? Any public comments? Any public comments? Okay, close public comments. Any further questions on the board, or would anyone like to make a recommendation or a motion?
I make a motion to remove this from the unfinished business list.
So, do we hear a second?
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Mrs. Tisdale.
Aye.
Miss Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Commander. Actually, I got one more for you, maybe. Or, well, this is more probably for Engineer Warner. Request for traffic signage. Steve Novak, 120 Woodside Drive, is requesting a caution hidden driveway sign to be placed westbound and eastbound on Barker to warn drivers that cars are entering and exiting Woodside. This was tabled from our October 6th, 2025 Board of Works meeting. And I do believe we modified this to look at trimming vegetation.
That is correct. We had street department staff go out and clear back about 10 to 15 feet from Woodside Drive to the north with a triangular cut all the way to the property to the east. So now you pull up, you can see all the way to the intersection.
Absolutely.
Past the old Jim's Fiesta Villa supermarket. Steve Novak happened to come by when I was out there looking at it, and he was quite happy with the changes made there. So I think we just maintain it. I talked to Sean that some of the trees had pretty good size trunks in them in the area, had to clear up. So there's still some trunks there. And I asked if Sean could get his stump grinder out, grind those down when we come and continue to mow that area. We don't beat our mowers up.
Sure. So cars can see someone at the intersection can see cars leaving.
All the way down to the curb behind the old grocery store there now.
Perfect.
Yep.
Sounds like it worked out without some signage.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
recommend we take this off the agenda.
Perfect. Awesome. Would anyone like to make them? I'll open for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comments?
Oh, yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. First of all, those homes on Woodside Drive are just gorgeous. I know that's where Dr. Vidya Cora lives and a lot of other prominent people in the city. One thing I noticed when I did drive there, I noticed there was a great big bushy pine tree as you approach that stop sign. And you really can't see, because of that tree, you can't see that stop sign once up until you get on it. So I think that pine tree either needs to be removed. We don't like removing trees in the city, or it really just needs to be brushed back. Maybe the bottom part of the branches need to be removed. And I think it'd be a good idea if you put a cross traffic does not stop sign. That's been proven to prevent accidents. I don't know if Sean's got any of those in his inventory. They just might want to stick one of those on there. So that'd just be my recommendation. And I'm very cutting all that brush back because that's really overgrown, really bad. So it's just my ideas. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments?
Scott Mellon, 200 County Place. I'd like to thank the city for attending to this in such a cost-effective way, but I think this points out a bigger thing, that a lot of the problems we have in town are from deferred maintenance and lack of maintenance over many years. And unfortunately, it's up to the new leadership and directors of these departments to attend to this. But this can't be the only place where we have similar conditions. And it would be nice if the city was proactive about maintaining the things they're responsible for maintaining before it gets to the point of a citizen expressing a safety concern and asking for signage. We need to get ahead of this. And I'm sure we're trying, but frankly, I think we need to try harder. There's been a lot of deferred maintenance for many years, and in different parts of the city, people feel different ways. But if there's anything we can do to encourage more maintenance of these things, I think we should do that. But I do thank them for attending to this one in such an effective way. Thank you.
All right. Any other public comments? Hearing none. Anything online? Okay, I'm going to close public comments. Would anyone like to make a motion to remove this? You've heard, I believe the solution has been made.
I'll make a motion to remove this request from the pending.
Perfect. Support. Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Santizo?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Perfect. I like getting things off the list. That's nice. All right. Awarding of bid. Awarding a bid for, let's see here. Awarding a bid for demolition of 901 Manhattan Street. This was tabled from our July 7th, 2025 meeting. Ms. LePage, would you have an update for us?
I do. So ultimately, what I'm asking this board to do is deny the awarding of a bid in this matter. And the reasoning is this.
Okay.
This property has had a whole host of weird issues. It's in receivership, it's in bankruptcy. Someone has recently purchased it at a tax sale. Okay. So what I wanted to do is make sure that the city had recorded all the necessary notices so that the individuals who took it subject to tax sale had notice of what they were taking it to. Back when the notice of bids went out, there was a change in staffing. And it has come to my knowledge that the notice to bidders was not recorded.
Okay.
So therefore, the person who took it at the tax sale did not have notice of it.
Yeah.
So from a procedural standpoint, I cannot advise this board to go forward because it then exposes us to liability. So we still have an order to demo. It's 2 years on it. If the planning department looks at their finances and determines that they want to bring it back or that it warrants to come back, they can come back and ask for another set of bids on it.
Sure. So to be clear, we're not getting rid of our order to demo. We're just we are not moving forward with the bid or the bid to demolish.
Correct, at this time.
Be very clear for the public that we still have an order to demo on 901 Manhattan Street.
So if again, the planning wants to come back and bring it back at any point in time, if they do, then that has to be recorded and all the right people be given notice.
Perfect. Okay. So we should probably deny the bid and does that essentially remove this off of our list?
It does for the time
Perfect.
being.
Perfect. I'll open it up for public comment, even though,
Yeah, Tommy Colaver, 1316 Ohio Street. Couldn't all the owners or whoever's involved with this just drop a quick claim deed and just sign it over to the Gary Archdiocese, which is the parent company of Marquette High School? 'Cause I know they want all that land, or they want to put soccer fields in there, and I think that would be great. You know, have host tournaments and have camps, and they bring people in, and, go eat at our restaurants, dine our food, bring their fan bases with them. So I just hope that the Marquette ends up getting all that, and it goes along with their master plan. Thank you.
any other public comments? Okay. Anything on hearing none, I'm close public comments. Sorry, go.
Sorry, I just have one comment. I know that Marquette had represented to the city that they were trying to get the property from tax sale. When they were bidding on it, it reached a point where they had said they were going to walk away if it reached that point, and it did. So another person came in and acquired the tax sale.
Yep.
So I think they were attempting to get it from that perspective.
Yep. Okay. You've heard Ms. LePage's report. Any questions from the board of Ms. LePage? Or would you like to do I hear a motion to basically deny the bid?
Motion to deny the bidding.
Support. Call for the vote, Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Antisto.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right. Next order of business is sidewalk and parking space closure for construction. This is the Fernando Patino. Undefeated Construction is requesting the closure of the parking spots at 1605, 1607 Franklin Street for debris removal and preservation work. This was tabled from our October 6, 2025 meeting. You heard from Director Vache that this is no longer a valid request because they will be shifting construction or general contractors. So they have asked us to remove this from the pending from the list. Would anyone like to? I guess I'll open it up for public comment on this.
Thank you, Mr. President. Scott Mellon, Kenwood Place. If we are concerned about public safety, why aren't we demanding a sidewalk scaffolding shelter be built over the sidewalk? Why are we waiting months for permission for him to do it? If there's a public safety issue, why are we waiting? We should be demanding that. I don't know if they're called scaffolding, and you see it all over where there's construction in Chicago. Why aren't we demanding this be placed there? I think I can't speak for Mr. Graff, but I'm willing to bet he'd feel more comfortable if there was a shelter over the sidewalk protecting the public. I have a feeling that Mr. Warner, our city engineer, would feel more comfortable if there was protection for the public. So I don't know what this board can do, but instead of just denying this because he's lost a contractor, let's take care of the public safety and put a shelter over the sidewalk. You can worry about the parking spaces later, but that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? All right, I'm gonna close public comments. Oh, sure.
Should I try again? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we still can't understand you, Mr. Graff. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problems.
Yeah. Okay. I still can't understand. Yeah, we're gonna have to close public comments now. Okay, close public comments. You've heard from Director Vacher. I do believe they'll be bringing a new contractor forward. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the board? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to deny.
Is there a second?
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Mrs. Tisdale. Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All righty. Next order of business, public comments. Any public comments?
Yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I want to congratulate the redevelopment commission. I see they got the top rails mended on their fence along Meyer Drive. I think there's still a section of terminal post that needs to be replaced. It's all bent up like a corkscrew, but made a little progress there. I see another tree fell down into the utility line there between the Advanced Auto Part and the Von Tobel alum. That needs to be taken. Whatever utility company that line belongs to, they're the ones that got to remove it. Kind of a silly procedure you got to follow when doing them is impossible. Still think you ought to remove the sign there on Wabash Street by the post office for the Wabash Street improvement that went in 2015. That thing's all roached out and kind of nasty look. And I think any kind of agreement you had with the DNR, whoever it was, to have that up there to display that information is probably grandfathered out by now. They still need to replace the asphalt section of the sidewalk you put along there on 8th Street by the county complex, and they're on 7th by Lighthouse Mall. You know, city sidewalks are supposed to be made out of concrete, not asphalt. I don't know why they poured that with asphalt. Maybe that could be done in the springtime. I just want to say, go Wolves, go and beat the Slicers Friday night and win us another sectional championship. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Anything online? Anything online? And Andrew? I'm sorry, Andrew.
Mr. Graff is reporting that other people are able to hear him on Zoom online right now. What I can say is that there was an event here, I believe, over the weekend where I did come in early. Plus, there was a power outage last week that I knew was going to reset a camera. So I came in earlier this morning and made every attempt to make sure that everything was working.
Yes.
But I'm kind of wondering if there may not have been some type of setting changed, which is preventing him from being heard through these televisions.
Yes.
And I will obviously address that as soon as the meeting is over.
Yep. Perfect. Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Attorney LePage, do we give him the opportunity to type out what he wants to say, or I'm just never kind of had experience.
Well, again, the issue, I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah,
The issue was Mr. Patino and his request for sidewalk.
Yeah.
He's not, so I don't think there's anything else to discuss. We're just awaiting the new
green
request
Okay.
from his contractor.
I'm good with that, Andrew. Yeah. Any other public comments?
And
Any
I'm
other-
assuming that's going to be at our next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other public comments?
Yes, Scott Melcher, kind of place. Given the potential technical issues and that Mr. Graff is desperately trying to speak to us, is there any way he could call somebody on the telephone to attend this meeting so at least his voice could be heard? Or
I mean, I'm not trying to complicate anything more than it already is.
no, I know, but
sorry.
We all want the building to be saved. He hasn't had a chance to speak. His name was mentioned. I'm just wondering if there's some workaround we can do today just to allow him to be heard. He might be mad at me. I'm probably better off when he doesn't speak. But just for fairness, I'm wondering if there's a phone number he'd call so we could.
Amber, I don't know what to do. Like, I need some legal advice.
Hey, Drew, how are you?
This board, I mean, obviously, I don't know if there is a
Drew, can you hear me?
issue or not.
Yeah, I'm here, sir. How are you?
No, we can't hear you.
All right. Okay, can you hear me, folks?
Ask Mr. Grant to talk.
Mr. Graff, can you talk now?
Yeah, I can talk, Skylar.
You're
So
gonna have to turn the Zoom off and let him just come through the phone if we're gonna do it this way.
Agree. Oh, yeah, I can hear him now.
Fantastic.
So just a few things that were mentioned. First, Wendy, I think, presented our situation appropriately and with accuracy. We made the decision to move away from Mr. Patino just because of the struggles on insurance. He had done yeoman's work in cleaning the building out up until the point that we said, we have to go into a different direction. And the new contractor, as Wendy said, does it for a living. The new contractor did an internal evaluation of the building. It wasn't thorough. It was only about an hour and a half, but they did take the drone footage. We've moved 120,000 pounds of more debris out of the building. The building is stable based on their estimate, and of course, you have the structural engineer's report from when we started this conversation. So I agree with Ms. Fechet that we are at a point where I just need probably a little bit more time to realign contractors on the final interior demolition, and I appreciate the board's update on that. I understand Amber's position that you don't want to vote on an extension, but I was requesting an extension of maybe 60 days. First of all, and we can do this at the end. I guess that's more appropriate based on Amber's comments, but we didn't get the demolition permit until I think it was like September 24th or something. We moved ahead of time on some of the work, but now with this contract coming in, and then they have to line up the personnel, and then those personnel are coming in from Cincinnati, and I have to house them and so on if I go with that contract. And by the way, I'm running into the same issue that the board needs to know about, because it's going to affect everybody that wants to do this type of work to salvage a building or to preserve a building. But interior demolitions are not attractive business for people. I have called over 6 demolition companies in the area. They either want nothing to do with it, they'd rather knock the building down, or they're too big. They do strip malls and huge office buildings and that type of thing. And they don't want a building that's 5,000 square feet or so, and it's not something that falls within there. And then you rule out the little guys with the insurance policies that you're asking for, right? So again, I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you where we are, because I'm trying to save the building. It's easier for me to knock it down, frankly, as I've said before. But when you require a $6,000 to $8,000 insurance policy just to put a container in front of the building to close a parking spot, then guys like Fernando are bucking that, and there are other contractors that might be small enough and able to do the work, but they can't spread that type of insurance policy across all the other insurances that they have and make the business attractive. So it's just something to consider, that you're going to hinder future cleanouts if people want to do this type of salvage work. That's about it. Like I said, Wendy was very accurate. I should have the proposal from Green City this week, and we'll make a decision on it. And I continue to call other contractors also, but I've gone through 6 since we've decided to move on from Fernando, and nobody in the area wants to work right now. So
Thank you. All right, any other public comments? If not, I'm going to close public comments. Any board comments?
Yes, I would just like to thank the HR department for holding the informative employee healthcare meetings before the vote on it at the Board of Works. I really think Number one, they definitely took a lot of heat from employees who were upset. I personally witnessed that. But I also feel it had a major impact on the mayor's and the HR's decision for modifying the included employee spousal carve out. So thank you to them for doing that, trying to get the information out to the employees in front of this meeting so they had information coming into it.
Any other board comments? Could I say one? Just congratulations we had the Main Street and Parks Department out downtown for Halloween. I think it was last weekend, and that was, from what I hear, very successful. So I hope we can continue doing those things and get the kids out. So any other board comments? Any other board comments? To hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All right. All those in favor? Aye.